Jones? Smith and Jones? The first episode with Martha where they were on the moon?
I like that one.
Yeah, we'll see.
I like it. It's fun. It's fun.
You say that now. You say that now. Yeah.
No, I remember that one really well, actually.
I vaguely.
I remember that season really well.
Really?
Yeah.
3?
Yep. Even that's probably why Martha isn't like dead last on my list, and also because the Amy and Clara shit is just so stupid sometimes.
Yeah, it gets really dumb. Love it.
Love it. Gotta love it.
Let's I've started it. It's working.
Let's go.
Can you believe it? Fantastic. As our friend would say.
Well, if it doesn't break halfway through, it's not a real Darkest Corner podcast. If everything doesn't go to shit at some point,
if everything sounds good, it's no good. Cut it. All right. We're back. I'm joined by David again. Let's do the same thing. What's your history with famous brain damage loving show Doctor Who?
Yeah, it's a favorite among the challenged, as we say. I started watching the reboot in middle school.
Yep.
A friend of mine introduced me to it. He had a DVD set actually of those first few seasons. So I started with Christopher Eccleston and then went on to Tennant. So I really liked it. It struck me. It was bizarre. It was quirky. Middle schoolers love quirky things, quirky characters. Yep. So it resonated that way.
Yeah.
And so then around when Matt Smith came around, I continued this series on my own, and that was after I was leaving middle school and going into high school. And I'm less familiar with those ones. Yeah. I did watch all of Matt Smith's stuff, and then even
most of Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, most of Peter Capaldi, but it was like it wasn't as important to me as those first 4 seasons,
right?
Because I had watched those with other people, and they got me at an impressionable time. They caught me. They groomed me. The doctor groomed me, as he does.
We were the companions all along.
Yeah, so that's it. I have not been watching the latest regeneration, which is The Woman.
The Chris Chibnall run.
Yeah, I have not watched a single one because I've really lost interest after Capaldi.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of those first few seasons of the reboot.
Yeah, I think I have almost the exact same villain origin story as you when it comes to my terminal brain damage.
Right.
My neighbor up the street who still lives there came to my house one day and he's like, there's this British show and then there's a kid in a gas mask and he said, "Are you my mommy? It's so scary. Oh my god, it's like the scariest thing ever."
Was a big draw.
And then I watched the first episode and I immediately got a tumor in my brain and I was
you were infected.
I was stuck.
Yeah,
they got me.
They got you.
I think that's how it happens. All right, let's give some background to people who don't know, like Nate, who is the only person who will ever listen to this.
Unbelievable.
Because I'll force him to. If you don't know, Doctor Who started in 1963. It's a British institution. It was on BBC. It's about an alien that changes into different aliens and travels through time and is super quirky. And then it went off the air in 89. Got a little TV movie in the 90s. And then Russell T Davies, famous fat person hater, came in to revive it in the early 2000s.
There's a lot of fat hate in those first couple seasons. That's big fan of that.
That's what makes them the best seasons. He came in 2005. He brought a pretty well-renowned actor in Christopher Eccleston. He got, I just learned this, Billie Piper was a British pop star.
Really?
Turned actress.
Wow.
Like Britney Spears type music.
Dang.
It's all pretty decent.
I'll have to give that a listen.
Yeah. But yeah, he brought in some good guys. Got some head writers like Stephen Moffat.
Oh yeah. Professional schizo. Professional schizo. That's what it says on his resume.
And yeah, they kicked it off very early 2000s. So there is about 40, 50 years of continuity in the series, but you don't really need it for the revival. So
Right.
that's good. Because then you'd have to
Basically,
watch...
everything gets like re-explained with every new regeneration. Like
And
some more
pretty-
briefly than others,
pretty
but
easily too.
yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't know, the TARDIS translate stuff. I don't know, this psychic paper. I don't
Yeah.
fuck it.
It gets re-explained with every companion.
Yeah.
Not even just every regeneration. So
Yeah, so that's good. But yeah, they brought it back. It was a bit of a rocky start, but it became a really big hit. And then after the first episode aired, Christopher Eccleston announced he was quitting, and everyone went, uh-oh.
Oh,
And then they're like, this David Tennant guy, kind of cringe.
I think he.
And then everyone liked him.
Yeah, I think
that's
he
the end of the
sold
story.
it. He sold it. He really popularized it. I remember not liking him at first, but I think that's common.
I think that's almost how everyone felt,
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just talking about Eccleston today.
Right.
So I was debating the Christmas Invasion, then I went, it doesn't matter if it's season 1. That's not even Eccleston.
True.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're doing per Doctor.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
since the reboot.
Yeah. Reboot Doctors. We don't want to...
2,000 podcasts.
I'll go back and watch the classics because
Okay.
I love them. But,
Okay.
Maybe
I
not
don't think I'm that far gone yet.
You haven't quite reached that schizo territory.
No.
No, start the counter. Start the counter. So yeah, we'll just go through by episode, and then just talk about the season as a whole. Mr. Eccleston, the companion, and yeah. So the first episode that starts us this season is famous banger Rose.
Oh yeah. It's a good one. It's a good one to start off with. I gotta say though, I actually am not. I think it was pretty weak for the monster aspect, but I think they weren't like the big thing by the end of it, or when the Doctor gets Rose to come along with, is that he's like, it also travels in time.
Yeah.
So they don't just start with that. They just start with him and his TARDIS that moves bigger on the inside, rather than they get into the time,
Yeah, and actually a lot of this season, intentionally so, Davies wanted it to be set mostly on Earth in fairly present times to kind of ease people into this,
Right.
psychotic madman universe.
Yeah.
And that's something this episode does really well, because we don't get the
It
Doctor.
keeps it grounded.
We don't get the Doctor till a little ways in, because we start with Rose, actually.
We just get some establishing shots of her life, where she works, her mother, Mickey.
Mickey.
Mickey. Gotta love Mickey.
We'll get to Mickey.
But yeah, just first impressions. It's a good one.
Yeah, it is. And it sets up the Doctor incredibly well. I think it sets up Rose really well. It sets up almost everyone really well.
Sets him up as a terrorist.
Yeah, this is our first instance of terrorism. Yeah. Let me check my notes.
Yeah. So Rose has to give a paycheck or something.
Yeah, she's got to go talk to the electrician, and the mannequins get her. We get the run.
Yeah. Great start.
Fantastic.
Who is this quirky man?
This man is too quirky. Yeah, this episode and this entire season is super 2000s, and I love it. It's so like overlit.
Everything is very fuzzy. The lighting is very like warm and fuzzy all the time.
It looks like either Clueless or like the 2000s Scooby-Doo live action movies. It's so good. I love it.
Yeah.
I have looks like a music video in my notes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We can break down the rest of the episode, but here's the schizo notes that I'm so well known for. Mucking about. He's not like the other girls.
It's true.
Doctor, much like Gandalf, is a terrorist. Can we get Ryan Gosling as the Doctor?
I would like that very much.
Bad Wolf theme. This is the first time we get it, actually. Yeah.
Good theme. Great music.
Here's a direct quote. Oi, the earth's spinning around you, love. That's who I am.
Yeah, he has a like very hardcore autism moment.
That's the Predator speech you have to memorize when you're trying to groom the little girl.
Oh, he got her hooked. As soon as he said in time.
I can feel the earth spinning around at 1,000 miles an hour, and if you let go, You're falling through space. That's who I am.
It's a good bit of dialogue, though.
It is. I like it. But yeah, that's how it starts. We have because she goes to see Dan Schneider.
Yeah, who dies almost immediately.
Then we get possibly the best Mickey moment in the series when he's first we get the pizza.
Babe, sweetheart, babe.
Honey, baby, sweetheart, honey, baby.
I love Plastic Mickey. I'm not a big fan of the monster in that. They could have done better.
Yeah, it's an okay start.
Yeah, like as far as Doctor Who monsters go, that's like shit tier for me.
Yeah.
But I love Plastic Mickey.
Yeah.
That's the highlight.
that's the best part of this episode.
Yeah.
Babe, sweetheart, baby, sweetheart.
Because you come back to him after he gets sucked in by the trash can, and then he's
got the smile.
He's literally a plastic man, and she doesn't care at all.
I think that sets up Rose and Mickey really well. She doesn't even notice he's made up.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And then they go to the Nestine. They take care of the Nestine. And then he goes, "I'll be going now. You could come with me." And then she's like, "No, I gotta take care of Mickey and me mom and the chips. I gotta eat chips.
I gotta watch the telly."
And then he goes, "In time."
Ooh.
And she goes,
and the rest is history. That's how the Doctor grooms him
every time.
He gets him good.
Just wait till we get to Amy. He shows up as a kid. He's like, "I'm your imaginary friend."
Oh no, I forgot about that.
Please, Matt Smith. Stop.
Why?
So yeah, what would you give this episode? I think this is a really good start.
You gave it an 8, didn't you?
I did give it an 8.
I'd probably give it a 7 or 8. Probably closer to an 8.
Yeah,
because
I feel like it is just, the monster's a bit weak, but it's such a good start. It just sets up the formula essentially.
I'm really surprised that I just learned this from you that Billie Piper started as started from a musical
pop
career.
star, yeah.
Yeah, but she's a really good actress. Yeah,
yeah,
she's really good. She really sells Rose completely.
Yeah, and I think she gets better also as the season goes on.
She does.
Yeah.
So yeah, solid start.
I think if you're not hooked by these first 2 episodes,
right,
you should probably just leave before you develop like an extreme brain tumor.
I would say the second episode better solidifies it.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree. Which the second episode is End of the World. The Doctor and his never-ending wisdom. A first date takes Rose to the day the Earth explodes.
Yeah, it was just like he was toying. He's like, "Oh, here's 100 years from now, but it's a bit boring. All right, here's the second rise of the Roman Empire. Here's and I'm gonna take you all the way to the end of the world."
I mean, she pushes him a bit.
Yeah, she does, and then she
regrets
immediately regrets it. She's like, "Oh no."
This is another pretty early 2000s episode. We get the fantastic Britney Spears toxic sequence
for 2 seconds. I wish it played longer.
Wish it went on.
Yeah.
We get honestly some of Rose's best moments early on.
Yeah,
where she gets super introspective.
She gets homesick, and the Doctor sort of shows his more nurturing side, and fixes her phone so she can call.
Yeah.
Jackie, the best character.
There's a strange man in my bedroom. No.
We're also introduced for the first time since the reboot that the Doctor is in fact an alien.
Yeah.
Well, I think they might have mentioned that in the first one, but we learn more about his background. Like what
he's
is
a Time Lord. Yeah.
He's a Time Lord, and that he's seemingly alone, or something bad has happened to the other Time Lords.
Yeah, because he actually at the end of this he says, my planet exploded like that. All my race is dead.
Yeah,
it's pretty rough.
It's pretty rough.
Rose's response is, "Do you smell chips?"
Oh yeah. They're like standing in a crowd, and Rose is like, "Wow, 5 billion years from now, they're all gonna be dead. Do you smell chips?"
We got 5 billion years till the shops close.
Yeah. Well, but that's almost actually a high note of her character.
Yeah,
she can take the introspection. She can take the darker parts of the universe, but she's also quite simple and pleasant.
Yeah. she's like super compassionate,
Mm-hmm.
which is almost her character. That's kind of like 90% of the problems in this season are caused by her being too nice to people.
Yeah, and the doctor's like, gotta kill him.
kill him, let me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's great. Yeah, we get Rose's line in the future where she's like, "Oh, my family's been dead for 5 billion years." And you're like, "Oh, okay, Rose."
It's true.
Yeah, we get some later characters introduced in this one too, with Face of Bo and Cassandra. I don't think any of the others reoccur.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, really good episode. The fans at the end, probably my only complaint. It's like very bizarre how he just jumps through the like fast moving fans.
Yeah. A little weird. He just kind of steps through.
Yeah, it's fine.
It was a moment.
Yeah. I would give this one a 9 out of 10.
Ooh.
I think this is a really good episode.
Yeah, I like it more than the first actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't usually give things a solid rating, but
Yeah, it can be hard.
I would just, I usually just say it's good, it's bad, it's boring.
Yeah. See, this time I'm trying to be much more lenient. Usually it'd be like everything's a 1, but one episode gets a 2. Now I've switched the weighting system.
Yeah, it's everything's pretty high.
Yeah, and I honestly think of the revival, this is probably my favorite season. It might be Series 9. I do have a soft spot for Series 9, but this season is really good.
Yeah, I would say season 1, I probably like season 1 more than like all of Matt Smith's stuff.
Yeah, I would agree.
5's
pretty good though. 5's pretty decent.
Yeah, we'll have to get to that rewatch because I'm it's like been blocked out of my mind.
You've suppressed the
I have.
So after one in the present, one in the future, we get what is, besides Empty Child, the only historical episode this season.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Dickens in Unquiet Dead. My only note.
Did you read your notes for the last one? Did you have any?
Yeah, it was just toxic. Was
my
only
note. Okay.
My only note for this one is Rose continues to be the best companion.
Yeah, the only part in that whole episode that I like, because I really don't like this episode. I can handle an over-the-top, stupid episode. This episode isn't stupid. It's just boring. Mm-hmm. And that's what really makes me mad at a piece of art, is when it's just boring.
Yeah. I don't think I nearly find it as boring as you do.
I can't stand it.
I thought it was fine. I like some of the ideas. I think the execution is some of the weakest in the season.
I can rate things I don't like easier than I can things I do like, and I would give this a 2 out of 10.
I'm gonna come at you with a baseball bat and give this a 6.
Oh my goodness!
I think it's fine. I like the historical episodes, so that kind of helps.
I do too. I have high hopes for them, but it proves to be more difficult to make entertaining.
I think Dickens is not handled great in this episode.
You don't think so?
At the end, where he's just like, "I know the meaning of Christmas," and he just leaves.
He's the only mildly interesting thing in the whole episode. I don't care for the girl that can see time and space. I don't care for the monsters.
And if you thought she was boring, her granddaughter is like the main character of Torchwood. God help us.
Oh my goodness.
You thought that show was bad? It just gets worse.
Yeah, I attempted to watch Torchwood. It was not. I mean, after like the 30th sex scene in the first 2 episodes, it's like, all right, I don't know about this.
Yeah, not a Torchwood fan. I haven't gotten that far, so there's still hope.
Well, the thing is, there's not enough schizo in that show. That show's definitely more for like your...
It's like young adult.
Yeah, your
like ADHD.
Your fish and chips eaters.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot to say about this episode. I think it's fine, but it's nothing special.
Stand it. I just can't stand when things are boring. There are some like really stupid episodes that I enjoy. Like they're not great, but I enjoy them even though they're stupid. I enjoy them almost because they're stupid.
Yeah.
This one was just boring.
Yeah. That's fair. That's all we'll say. It's
probably the lowest of the season actually for me. It's
interesting.
It's my season low.
Wow, interesting. We're not quite to my season low. This season is really good. Mm-hmm. I honestly think that.
I think its lows are low and its highs are high.
I don't think its lows are even that low though. I feel like there's much worse lows. I think next season
Oh,
has
for
some
sure.
much worse lows.
I just mean contained within itself.
Yeah. Our next episode is the first two-parter. And the first part is Aliens of London. This is where the subtext of hating fat people starts to leak in.
It's really bizarre and fun. It's funny.
It's a fun episode. The green screen in this episode is so bad.
That's where they start on the roof, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When they come back, is this the one where Rose had actually been missing for a year because the doctor's an idiot and miscalculated?
Yeah.
Like instead of 12 days, it was
12 months. Yeah.
Oops.
This is, I think, our first time we see the doctor is like pretty incompetent most of the time.
Yeah, he actually doesn't know what he's doing with the TARDIS very, very much.
And this idea that pops up later too. But yeah, it's fun. I really like the opening of this one. This season has really great domestic stuff between Jackie and Mickey and Rose and all that.
Yep.
I actually really like all that stuff.
Yeah.
I really like.
Well done.
I really like when they're on the roof, and Rose is like, "How old are you?" And he's like, 900, and she's like, "That's quite an age gap."
Jackie's all like,
Why can't you tell me where you were?
You're his companion. What's that supposed to mean? Is this the first Bad Wolf? Like the actual text appears on the person's spray paint. The kid paints it on the side of the box.
Yeah, in the last episode, the maid lady says,
the big bad wolf. Right, okay.
And then, the kid spray paints it on the box in this one.
Yep.
And I don't think it really is in the first two episodes. We get the theme.
Yeah, it's just not super apparent if it is.
Yeah, I don't think it is in them. And, we'll talk about the season arc at the end. But, this episode starts really strong with the domestic stuff. And then I think it continues strong with the, invasion of the body snatchers, political infiltration, and then it immediately goes to 20 minutes of just fat people farting,
and then them unzipping their foreheads and just getting the blue light. They really liked that effect. They do it a lot.
I know. Russell is like, the Slitheen were so good. We're gonna bring them back for another episode.
I like their designs. I do.
Yeah, I like their prosthetic designs.
Right. Yeah, they had one running animation of a CGI Slitheen that they throw in there a couple of times.
And this was actually the second episode they shot. They shot Rose and then this two-parter.
I like the throwaway joke on the roof where she's like, I know all this stuff about the universe and aliens and nobody else does. And
then the ship comes crashing down.
Yeah.
Other schizophrenic notes are Doctor immediately taking control of the army.
Oh yeah, he's just so charismatic and
pig,
quirky. They find the decoy alien,
and he's like, "Follow me." And
it was scared. I'm so sorry.
It was scared. Followed by Doctor is Batman.
Oh yeah.
Followed by Doctor Cockblock.
What is that even in reference to?
I don't know. I never know what these are.
For Mickey, maybe?
It must be for Mickey, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. This episode ends, I think, with the army coming because he's the alien expert. And he's like, "Take me to your leader." And they take him to Parliament. And then they start electrocuting people. I think that's the end of the first part, right?
Right. Yeah, everyone's getting electrocuted or whatever.
And people are farting.
Yep.
For literally 40 minutes.
Yep, they're laughing, giggling, and farting.
Yeah.
Fat people. Typical fat people moment.
I like this episode. I think it's a 7 out of 10 for me. I enjoy it. It's good.
It's good. I think the first part of this two-parter is a bit better.
I agree. Yes.
A bit better. Yeah.
Because the second part is World War III. My only note is that zoom.
Yeah, they did some crazy zooms during Mickey stealing the codes, launching the stuff.
And this is where it gets a little too stupid, I think.
It's pretty crazy.
Where he's hacking into the UK missile codes and firing missiles.
You get introduced.
And the code is Buffalo.
Yeah, it's all Buffalo every time. You get in this two-parter, you get introduced to what's her name? Sarah Jane. What is it?
No, Sarah Jane's the companion. You're thinking the prime minister, right?
Yeah, the future prime minister, which I don't really care for.
Harriet Jane,
Is it okay?
I think.
Something like that. Yeah. One of those British people.
Yeah, and I think she's okay in this episode. I don't like her so much when she reappears.
Yeah, I just she's all right up until like Hannibal and like and then
she's like use the salt to dissolve vinegar to dissolve mountains. You're like, what are you talking about?
It's a little schizo. And then by the end of the episode, after they bomb the government building and come out of the metal box, she just like starts yelling and walking towards she just starts yelling at the press and walking towards them, and then they just film her. She's just a freak.
Yeah. And then she's like suddenly the prime minister.
Yeah, everyone loves her. I find her like kind of annoying.
Yeah, I think she gets more annoying as it goes on. Probably because Russell is just slowly losing his mind as he writes this episode. He's like, more fat people farts, more farts.
We get some I think the real interpersonal conflict in this episode is like Jackie's concern for her daughter being with this strange, dangerous man.
Mm-hmm.
Or
in her bedroom.
This man that invites danger, and Doctor just keeps doing it.
Yeah, he does what he does.
Yeah.
This is also the first episode, I feel, in the series where we slip into like Scooby-Doo chase territory.
yeah, with this Levine's running around the building. That was absolutely a Scooby-Doo chase.
We get Scooby-Doo chases in the next season with like Love and Monsters way more. But yeah, it starts here. I don't think this episode's quite as strong. I'd give it probably like a 6. It's fine.
Yeah,
I don't like it as much. Yeah. But then after a couple of lows or like meh, we get pretty big boy episode. Dalek.
Yeah, that would be my favorite episode of the season if it weren't for Adam. I don't know. Adam's all right in the episode. Actually, he just sucks in the next one.
Yeah. I really like how Russell and the writers decided to do this to reintroduce the classic Who villains, because like in this season we get Daleks about midway through, and then season finale they come back in like full force, like there's millions of them.
Yeah.
And then spoilers for Nate, if you're listening, turn it off now. In this next season, about halfway through again, we get Cybermen, and then the season finale is Daleks and Cybermen. And then in the third season, at the end, we get the Master. And then the fourth season, we get the Suntarans. And then sixth season, we get Zygons. I just really like how they very slowly brought them back. So it wasn't like, first episode Daleks, second episode Cybermen.
Yeah. They reintroduce all the classics. Mm-hmm. They don't just expect you to. Yeah. No.
And I think they do it really well, because I think most people would agree, this and like Genesis of the Daleks are probably the two best Dalek stories, like of the entire 60-year run.
Yeah, a lot in this episode works. Like the premise, them being in this underground,
like museum,
basically, or warehouse where they catalog all this alien tech run by Mr. Internet himself, Mr. John Internet.
John McAfee.
That's a bit goofy, but it works. It works. It does work. And they just have a Dalek chilling down there.
A Metaltron.
A live Dalek.
Yeah. It's fantastic. I mean, it might not be good as Death to the Daleks, where he says, failed to locate human female, self-destruct.
I love the Daleks as an enemy. They're so great. I don't care if people think they're goofy, and they are a little goofy, but
they are goofy, but you also realize that they are like incredibly terrifying.
They're kind of terrifying once you get down to it. They're just a mass of like fleshy genetics bred to destroy,
to hate and kill.
Yeah, and their the laser effect on their tank, their shell is so good.
I mean, their metaphor is a little on the surface, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Let's see my notes on this. First one, Democrats are so funny.
Oh yeah,
A classic line.
Pick a Democrat because they're funny.
Yeah, he owns the internet. Dalek Snapchat filter. Forgot Mickey real quick. This is the start of Rose just picking up new boyfriends.
Yeah,
every
Rose just gets a
episode.
new boyfriend every few episodes.
Halo soundtrack. I
I think
guess.
that's when the Dalek like was coming after people.
Yeah, because I have Dalek caught feelings.
Yeah.
And then the last one, I don't think you can do that to Mr. Internet.
Yeah, that's probably the like
That's like
that's
the
probably the
weak
one stupid point
yeah,
of the
which is
episode.
just like, yeah, take him out, wipe his
Yeah,
hand.
like his new assistant
Yeah.
just like it takes over because he like didn't know he had a Dalek.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of it
Like,
just doesn't
you
make
can't
any
do
sense.
that. That's not how it works.
Yeah,
You
like,
can't just walk into the company.
He clearly got here by through his own work. Anyway,
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. it's a stupid Doctor Who episode.
it's just Doctor Who. Yeah, that episode sucks. I hate
Yeah.
it. Dalek sucks. No.
And I think the two best parts of this episode are getting to see the Doctor like genuinely terrified,
Yes.
screaming, kill it. He's walking around with a big old gun.
Yeah, you don't see him really like that.
And then
before.
when he has to make the decision to trap Rose, I think that's a really good moment.
Yeah.
And then the whole conundrum, the end, where the Dalek is like, "What does the light feel like?" And
Yeah,
he just kills himself.
it starts to feel. I think that's my favorite part of the episode
that's
is
the
when
standout,
when
yeah.
it reveals itself
Mhm.
to feel the light and all of its dialogue for the rest of that point until it blows itself up
Yeah.
is really good.
Yeah, and just the idea like of that whole dilemma is
Mhm.
fantastic.
It's like Rose, revives it with her
Time energy,
Yeah.
from a
something, whatever, and then accidentally programs feelings into it.
downloads feelings.
I mean, if I was a Dalek, I'd fall for Rose too.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Kind of cute.
Yeah,
I would give this episode a 10 out of 10.
I don't dispute that. It's very good.
It's very good, and it's followed by what I think is the worst episode in the season.
I don't hate it as much, but it's not great.
This is The Long Game with a guy who my first note was, "Hey, it's Discount Simon Pegg," and then I went, "Oh no, it is Simon
That
Pegg."
is Simon Pegg.
This episode's fine. It introduces Satellite 5, which is kind of important to the end of the season.
Right.
You could probably just skip this one though.
Yeah, honestly, there's just like one line. He's like, "Oh, this is Satellite 5
Yeah.
in the season finale," and it's like it gives you a bunch of. After that point, it gives you a bunch of establishing shots of the satellite, so it's
Yeah.
just like you can infer, like, okay, they're on a satellite. What else
yeah.
do I need to know?
And I forgot to mention in Dalek, the Mr. Internet squad is called Bad Wolf Team. And then in this one of the channels is Bad Wolf TV. So there's our mentions there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this episode's super fucking boring to me. This is like my Charles Dickens.
It's a
one.
little less boring to me than the Charles Dickens one because of the location. The
Yeah.
location makes it slightly interesting.
Yeah, I think the location is good. The whole idea, this is another like really weird Russell idea where he's like tackling fake news in 2004. Apparently, like okay, Russell.
Well, yeah, it's like the humans being controlled by news media or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know, but
Yeah, and yeah, not a lot happens. We follow Adam for like half this episode. He's so stupid. He's like,
Right.
yeah, I'll get me a chip installed in me brain.
he never comes back
Yeah,
because he just sucks.
yeah.
Because he's not good.
Yeah, he's terrible. Not a lot happens. The black woman takes out this big slime monster.
She
Let's see. Got a new boyfriend. Yeah, that sets it up. Fake news. Bad Wolf Channel on Satellite 5. Already got it. You need chips. See, it's a metaphor for British people always wanting chips.
so true.
They got chips in their brain. It's a metaphor. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Spending way too much time with Adam, and then the stock violin sound.
Yeah, what the heck? That was such a weird thing they did. The like very commonly used
Like horror violin.
like violin yeah, and it just like kept like coming in and out, like adjusting to the dialogue. It was so weird.
Yeah, that was, I don't know what what they were doing there.
Yeah.
Because we'll talk about this at the end, like we always do. But Murray Gold's score for this show, I think, is absolutely fantastic.
Mhm.
And that's like the one time I'd be like, what's going on, guys?
Yeah, that was
what
a
are you
little
doing?
weird. That probably wasn't even. That was a decision made by like the studio, probably.
I'm sure, yeah. I mean, this feels, I think, like the most studio episode. It feels very bland and boring to me.
The monster was like almost interesting, but it's like,
Yeah.
how are you supposed to take this thing that's supposedly like basically enslaved the human race with media, but it's just like a screeching pile of flesh.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't actually have like a distinct like consciousness to us. We can't interpret what it's doing. It's just screaming at Simon Pegg, and Simon Pegg is like talking for it.
Simon Pegg is doing his best Simon Pegg impersonation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this episode's terrible. I give it a 5.
It's slightly above. I'd probably give it a 5 too, but again, my The Unquiet Dead is 2, so I was like, it's slightly better for me because the location holds my attention better than Unquiet Dead.
That's fair. Yeah, I think the locations he's better at the end of the season, but yeah, it's all the same. Whatever. Next episode, one of the really interesting ones in this season, Father's Day.
Yeah.
I find it amazing that Doctor Who doesn't do this more.
Right. Because it seems like such an obvious thing to do when you have time travel and you have a time traveling, host to a human companion. They're going to be like, can we go back and change something in my personal life?
Yeah. And I think Rose is arguably the only person who does this. I'm trying to remember. I think she is.
Yeah, I don't remember that with Donna or Martha.
Yeah.
I think it's like almost kind of like that with Amy.
I mean, yeah, the whole like season 6 arc is a fucking nightmare though.
It's true. Yeah.
That's peak schizo.
Yeah, this is just like really well contained.
And yeah, I think the ideas of this episode really hold it up. I have it. First note is I love how the show is lighted.
Oh yeah, very fuzzy, very warm.
Very fuzzy warm.
Yeah.
It's like a blanket. And then the second note is blew their load on the monsters.
Yeah, they were able to do really well with this episode, just with the same CGI 3D model and one location.
Yeah,
the entire time.
You can tell this is a low budget episode, but I think the idea holds it really well.
They hold it up with the writing of characters and the dialogue and just the idea.
Yeah, and there's so much that's good about this episode. I think one of my favorite moments that's like completely unrelated is when Mickey is on the playground as a kid.
Yeah.
And it just keeps cutting away and people just disappear.
Are disappearing.
Yeah, I think that's really good. The car constantly going around the loop is pretty good.
That was a very well done effect.
That's probably one of the best.
It was better than the monsters.
Yeah. Oh, much better.
Yeah.
And yeah, that would be my one complaint is the monsters look a little silly. But
I will
fine.
say for some of the moments, like when it appears inside the church and sometimes the outside shots of it,
like the
them
shadows.
surrounding the church, I think they did really good framing with that, especially when it's inside the church and the doctor is like standing in the foreground and it's in the background with its wings spread. That's like, it's very picturesque, very like painting.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part actually, of course, is from the characters, from the dialogue. They when Rose's father is catching on to that Rose is, well, after he realizes Rose is Rose grown up, his daughter, and that he's starting to catch on that he shouldn't be here, that she saved him on purpose, and that he was supposed to die. It's when she lies and says all these great things she did,
he's
or
like, that's
he did.
not me.
Yeah, he's like, that's not me. He knew. I think that was a great bit.
Yeah, I think this episode has so many little great moments. I really like when the doctor opens the TARDIS and it's just empty.
That is a good moment because it's like you
oh,
weren't
we're
expecting
fucked,
that. Yeah.
I really like
The doctor dies.
Yeah,
He straight up dies.
Yeah. I like the two people getting married and they're like, we know we're not important, but and he's like, no, you are important.
Yeah, you get to see the doctor's soft side.
And then he just like chastises Rose the whole episode.
Yeah.
She's like, "This is my fault." Yeah, it's your fault, you stupid ape. You're a fucking idiot, eh?
Yeah, but all he needed was a hug to get over it.
It's true. It's true. I was gonna come back for you.
Oh yeah, my biggest pet peeve of this episode though was that for child Rose, like 7-year-old Rose, when Jackie's telling they got it right. It looks like a child Rose, and then for baby Rose. Yep. Big blue eyes. Yep. Rose has brown eyes. Yep. How did they miss that? They just had a blonde baby. They're like, all right, well, fuck it, we'll fix it in post.
Probably like Stephen Moffat's kid. Like,
yeah. It's like it was just a blonde baby girl, and they're like, all right, close enough. Even though
it'll do.
The eye color is so glaringly different, but whatever.
Yeah.
That's just a little thing.
This is a really good episode. I really like this concept, and they don't do it again. Another small pet peeve, because it's not really ever explained. It doesn't really matter. But when they run in front of themselves and then they just vanish.
Yeah, it's just kind of probably more for convenience sake.
I've heard people say it's like, well, that's when they split off into the alternate timeline.
Right, so they would no longer be there.
I don't know. Yeah, what?
Wibbly wobbly.
Timey-wimey.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would give this a 9 out of 10. I think this is a really good episode.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Next, we get our next two-parter. First part is, of course, the schizo part that made the kids made me watch, Empty Child.
Yeah, this was definitely a big draw-in episode for this series.
Yeah.
Creepy gas mask child.
A gas mask zombie, but it's
nano healer bots.
This is actually our first Stephen Moffat episode.
Can you believe his first episode? Everyone lives just this once,
and it's actually intelligible. Somewhat.
Yeah.
We get Jack Harkness in this episode.
Yeah, we are introduced to Captain Jack. You're not a fan?
It comes and goes.
Right.
I like him. He's not my favorite. I think Torchwood ruined him for me, to be perfectly honest.
For sure. When I watched Torchwood, I was like, okay, this is too much. Too much.
He's okay in this season. I don't mind him. I think he gets worse as he goes along.
Really? I think I actually, well, I don't know. We'll have to rewatch it.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
But yeah, this is a good episode. We get Nancy, I think, is the girl who's Jamie is the patient zero, the gas mask. And she does the thing where they all go in the bomb shelter and she brings the kids in to eat the meal.
That's a good bit.
I like how the doctor just joins them.
Yeah, it's very nice.
That's a good scene. My note is new boyfriend for Rose every episode. Again.
Yep.
And then random doctor at the end is a great actor.
Oh yeah, the one. Yeah.
The one who's like, "Get away, mommy."
Yeah, he was good. I liked his performance.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't have a whole lot to say for this episode. It gets a little silly with Rose like hanging from the blimp.
Well, I think they wanted to show off
the
fact that it was like, oh, it's an air raid. It's London. It's London. It's a German air raid.
And it's a cool like visual, I think.
Yeah.
Not great effects, but cool visual.
What is this one better or worse than the second part?
I think it's worse.
Yeah, I agree.
I really,
not that it's a bad episode, just that it's not quite as good as the second part.
I like Captain Jack's introduction where he grabs the binoculars and he's just like, "Great ass."
Yeah. He's like, "Great rear." It's like, and the other guy's like, "I'm sorry."
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth a watch. I'm gonna give it.
It's probably one of the most iconic episodes of this like beginning of the reboot.
And that's like the thing, Stephen Moffat. As much as his scripts are schizo incomprehensible, he's hitting them out of the park. We get this, one of the most iconic. We get Blink, one of the most iconic. Yep. Vashta Nerada,
very good
one
at
of the
the
most
horror.
Iconic.
Very good at the horror, because I think this is the first like real horror episode of the reboot. I wouldn't really count Unquiet Dead.
I think Unquiet Dead tries, but it's a little unbalanced. I think this is the first one that kind of nails it.
Yeah, Unquiet Dead is a little more like
history,
thriller,
Yeah.
kind of mystery.
Mystery, yeah.
Yeah, and then this one is like, oh, spooky child, empty. He's empty.
He's empty.
He's got a gas mask.
We
Are
hate
you-
fat people. He's empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give this an 8 out of 10. I think this is a good episode. It is immediately followed by The Doctor Dances. This starts in the hospital with Jack, Rose, and Mr. Spock.
Yeah. Oh, Rose. So clever.
Honestly, everything works in this episode. The Nancy stuff gets a little boring.
Do you think so?
Just just very little.
I was once again surprised because I'd forgotten that about the whole like plot line.
At the
that's
end,
really
it's good.
Yeah, that's real. Oh, it's really his mother.
His mother, yeah. Are you my mummy?
Yeah,
That was his mummy.
his mummy.
Yeah, like Egyptian.
Right.
Yeah.
I appreciated her character more and more as it went on.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I thought it was really clever how one of the soldiers, after she was taken prisoner by them for breaking in, like
He's got the scar. Yeah.
he becomes infected and she sings him to sleep with a lullaby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The stand down at the end of this is a little silly.
You think so?
In retrospect, I think at the time I would have been like, "Oh my god, it's the gas mask people."
I just think it's like it's predictable, but it's almost like it's predictable in the sense that like of course this needs to happen. Like of course they need to like end up like with their backs against the wall, surrounded by the threat of the episode.
Yeah. We get another one of my favorite Rose lines from this season when Jack hijacks the radio and starts playing Moonlight Serenade, and the doctor's like, "What's that?" And Rose is just in the corner going, "It's our song." And you're like, "What are you talking about, Rose?"
I think that was more of a line in passing, but
I love that. That's so funny to me.
It was good. There's a little bit of a friendly competition between Captain Jack and the Doctor for Rose's affection. Not in a obviously a super like for keeps romantic way, but it's like just a bit of a like
I'm 900 years old. You think I haven't danced a bit? I
Right.
got the moves, but I wouldn't want to brag.
Yeah, it was good. I like that bit. I like when they like almost start to dance locked in the room, but then
he TPs them.
yeah, he TPs
slash
them.
TPs them.
It was a good cut.
Yeah, it was. And this has a lot of really good shots, like when the radio's in the front and it's kind of a wide lens, and we have the radio here, and then the background is them.
Going back to the first part, I really like the imagery of them dancing with the Jack and
in front of
outside of Big Ben,
Ben,
on the invisible spaceship. Yeah, good imagery.
Yeah, that's very good. This episode ends with the revelation that Nancy is his mother. The nanogens accept her superior biology.
Right. Fixes.
And we get one of the best lines that I didn't even realize was in this episode. Just this once, Rose. Everybody lives. Just this once.
Yeah, no, it was good. It's funny. They kind of like acknowledge it that just people die every episode. So much death. I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Yeah, and then Jack stops the bomb. I don't know how he was sitting on the bomb when it got held in the tractor beam.
That was it looked a bit goofy.
It's Dr. Strangelove reference, I guess.
Yeah.
And then they save him from his exploding ship.
Because at this point, he's not immortal yet.
Right. And he becomes a companion for the rest of this series.
Yep.
Yeah. I would give this episode a 10 out of 10.
Dang. Yeah. I don't disagree.
Yeah. I think this is a fantastic episode. Followed by an episode I don't really know how to rank, Boomtown.
This is how I see it. It's filler.
Yeah.
But it's like not bad filler.
Yeah.
And actually it has a couple of bits that actually go a bit beyond filler.
Yeah.
Because it introduces the TARDIS since the reboot. It reintroduces the TARDIS as a
sentient
living
being.
entity,
It's got
as
the
a
time vortex.
Yeah, it's a cosmic entity.
It's indescribable.
Exactly. That like it can't be. It's not to be trifled with by people with
Who don't understand.
mortals.
Yeah. And actually, something we forgot to mention in Father's Day, we get the Tolkien reference where he's like, the older it is, the more powerful.
Yeah.
good
The
stuff.
older something is, the more magic it has, or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, Boomtown, really weird episode. One of my problems with it that is so incredibly minor, why doesn't the TARDIS translate the Welsh that says bad wolf? It translates everything else. Why didn't it translate the Welsh, huh?
Oh man, you better call up Mr. Who. Yeah, right now. I thought the remaining Slovene daughter character, more fat hate, but anyway, she was really good.
Yeah, she was really good.
All of her lines trying to convince the doctor not to take her to, a space execution. Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, and after Dr. reads the bad wolf thing, he has like a mental breakdown moment where he's like, it's following me everywhere.
Yeah, but then he's like, never mind. Nah.
I'll be going now.
Yeah, Mickey gets a bit resentful.
I think what is my note here? Yeah, Mickey's entire character is pizza.
I think that's Bad Wolf.
Yeah, it's in the last episode.
Or the last episode.
But
yeah,
in this one too, he's like, yeah, I got a pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza.
That's his character. Love Mickey.
Yeah, but I think Rose and Mickey stuff in this is really good.
You think so?
I think so.
I get a bit sick of it.
I think it goes a little too long, but what it's trying to do works.
Right.
And then yeah, the Slovene. I cannot say that word.
Is it Slovene or Slovene? That's what we don't know. Is it
yeah.
TH?
Yeah.
Okay, Slovene.
But yeah, the dinner between her and the doctor is great when she like poisons the drink.
You get some intense close-ups.
You do. They're so good.
Very intense close-ups in that. Yeah, there are some actual like very decent shots in that.
Yeah.
I like the overhead shot of the courtyard where the TARDIS is parked after it gets earthquaked.
Mm-hmm. And there's the cracks, yeah.
And then the background, whatever that structure is with the words
as it disappears
behind the TARDIS.
And actually, we get a mention to Unquiet Dead in this because they park on the riff from that in order to zap the time energy to like recharge the battery.
Yeah, right. Gotta give the TARDIS some more juice or something.
In my notes, she gets some of the best lines in the series. With the first one being, but they were French.
yeah. She's like doing this project that's gonna blow up the world, and someone's getting too close, and she's gonna execute them. The person's like, all the people surrounding, like pointing out the problems of this project are dying, and she's like, they were French. Like, oh my goodness.
We get another great line from her where she's like, and the planet will blow up, and for me. Surfs up.
Yeah, she's like, I'll ride the waves on this whatever device she created. Surfs up. That's great. I love that. They were too lazy to have her completely transform. They just had a prosthetic arm.
Her arm come out.
Yeah.
There's some really great kind of nature versus nurture discussion in this, where she's like, well, the family, made me kill. I don't know if I would have been evil.
That's all she ever knew.
And she reverts to an egg. They're like, well, we'll put her with a good family.
Yeah, she'll restart.
Do we get Space Line at the end of this episode? Kind of.
What is it? Oh, okay. I don't remember.
There's the sax from that. It sounds like that.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not a super deep episode. I think it's pretty fun, though. And it's like a fine filler.
Yep.
I'll give it a 7 out of 10. This is the one episode of this season that I completely forgot existed.
Yeah, it does like catch you off guard. It's like when after the point where her and Doctor go to dinner and like she's like trying to assassinate him, but then like after she can't, she's just trying to convince him, guilt trip him or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just just so weird.
It's
You're
like,
like, what? And then you cut back to Mickey and Rose, and Mickey's like, you don't.
I got a pizza, but you went to space.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what is going on? What is this episode?
Honey babe, sweetheart, honey babe. And then we go to the finale. The first part of the finale is Bad Wolf. Those words that have they've been following me all over space and time. Never mind.
Never mind.
This episode's so good. My notes are Clockwork Orange ? Followed by Scooby-Doo 2002 ? All the furniture in the Big Brother house looks really.
Yeah, the introduction to this before the reveal. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
I love the death game shows, the death reality TV.
Because it's like it's
terrifying.
It's such like a stupid on the nose metaphor, but you're like, yeah, this is where we're going.
The game show that we both had a huge kick out of, the android that was hosting the game show with Rose.
Yeah, he's scarier than the Dalek.
Straight up, that android was actually just terrifying. The effect of just lasering people into dust, into nothing.
And they're just gone,
Yeah, it was, it's very jarring.
Yeah.
As she's, the android's just like, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Yeah.
And you just, and you're gone.
I love Rose's like hysterical laughter as she doesn't know what's going on.
She has no idea that.
And then she votes for that one lady, and she's like, "What? No, I'm sorry, I didn't know." And the android just.
It was a great build up.
Yeah, it's so good. She's been evicted from life.
Mm-hmm.
There's some more great one-liners in there where. The robots with Jack are like, it's time for a face-off, and they have like a
super on the nose. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. All the game show stuff is fantastic, and then I really like the ending when you think Rose dies, and the doctor's just sitting there like frozen.
I know, as everything's moving around him, but the camera's just focused on his face.
And there's the great moment when they're in the cell. And you think he's just broken, and they open the cell, and he's just like, "Go!" And him and Jack just like kill everyone.
I don't think they kill anyone, but it is good.
Yeah,
it's very, it piques your interest as the audience to be like, oh, what's the doctor gonna do? Like, what's going on? And he was upset, but he
held it together.
Yeah.
Linda, I think, is really good in this episode.
Linda with a Y.
Yeah, Linda with a Y.
He was already
sweet Linda.
He already found a replacement. The doctor
works fast.
He was grooming that one right away.
I really like. I think her name's the designer, the blue lady with all the tubes. We're like, that's Stephen Moffat.
Yeah,
plugged in.
Yeah, the imagery on that one again. That's some incredible imagery. So the doctor finds out they're back on. Satellite 5, 9, what is it?
5.
Okay.
Yeah. They're at the Bad Wolf Corporation. I wonder if that's important. Yeah, we get the solar flare, and she's like, "Doctor, this is the only time I can talk to you."
Right.
And then it finds out it's a teleporter. I love Jack. He's like, "Linda, can you come stand over here?" And he just blows her away.
Just kills her. Yeah. The doctor's like, "You killed her."
Yeah, and then we get Rose with the Daleks. Girlfriend.
Yeah, I love the dogs so much. Just once again, they won't kill Rose.
Yeah,
they like her. It's in their DNA now.
Yeah. We get another great doctor monologue as he's like, "I'm coming for you, Rose. I've got no plan. Doesn't that scare you? I got chips,
and I'm British." Yeah.
Yeah, I would give this episode a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think it's... I think it might be a little better than the second part.
I would agree.
But, like, just for personal entertainment, I like both of them. I think they're both, necessary to each other.
Oh, without a doubt.
So I think they're both good. I don't really... Just on a technical level, I'd say the first one's a little bit better with the intrigue of the beginning of the episode.
The game shows and all that.
Yeah.
It is such an interesting idea that, again, we don't really see anything like it again.
Yeah, the second part is really just like, all right, Daleks, we got to solve
time,
this.
Yeah. So, the second part, Doctor shows up in the TARDIS, saves Rose, threatens the Daleks, leaves.
Yeah. Emperor Dalek.
Yeah, we get the Emperor Dalek. Who's pretty great in this episode.
He's pretty awesome. I love when they get the close-ups on him in his jar, and you get the close-ups of his milky eye. he just takes up one half of the screen, and the other half is just sort of this underwater appearance.
Yeah.
It's very good. I just wish they didn't have him vibrate when he talked, like the actual tentacle version of himself, like move a little bit back and forth like a big prosthetic.
Right.
I think it works better if he was just completely still during his because his voice is very distinct. I love the voices of the Daleks.
Yeah.
I'm okay with their big tank versions,
Yeah.
like kind of moving
Shaking
back and forth when they
yeah.
talk. That's funnier, and it makes it more clear who's talking. But when it's just him and it's his very distinct voice, I think it's more menacing if he's just completely still during the close-ups.
Yeah. I think the idea of this episode is really interesting too, because they're basically harvesting humans to make Daleks.
Yeah, and it takes quite a lot to do even one, apparently.
Yeah, because like only one cell of a human is good enough for a Dalek or something. And they're like worshiping the Emperor like he's the god of the Daleks.
Yeah,
it's really bizarre.
According to the Doctor, is a very original concept for the Daleks.
Yeah, yeah, it's something new.
Yeah. He's just like, you've lost it.
Yeah.
you've all lost it.
What are you talking about? And we kind of get this more. I don't remember what series Daleks in Manhattan is, but that's a lot about like the human Dalek hybrid.
Yeah, there's like a complete half Dalek, half human.
Who's terrifying looking.
And he decides to... His voice was also distinct, but I think he sounded a bit goofy.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Yeah, he sounded kind of like a nerd.
But they go back to the space station. They send out the ground troops to hold everyone off as the Doctor builds the Delta Wave.
Yeah, and Jack and the Doctor are like they
know everyone's gonna die.
Yeah, they know it's not gonna kill any of the Daleks. They're just gonna slow them down, basically.
Yeah.
Linda dies. Human female detected.
Yeah, and that's one of the really awesome moments when it's just silent. You see them coming up and you can't hear them at all.
Yeah, the window
but
outside in space.
You know exactly what they're saying. Then they just blow the window open.
Yeah, you see his little ear light bulbs.
Exterminate.
Yeah, you know that's exactly what he's saying. But of course, he's in space. You can't hear him, but it's very good.
And then we get I really love how Russell decides to develop this like Indian lady and the one guy. She's like, yeah, I'll have drinks with you. They immediately just die.
Yeah, can't say I'm gonna miss him.
Yeah, no, I just love how he's like, let's take the time to develop them. Okay, they're dead.
Yeah, right.
And then
same with the controller. She gets transported after like helping the Doctor.
Masters.
And then they zap her. That's in the end of the first part, right?
I think so, yeah.
Because you get to see the reflection of the Dalek after she gets zapped, and you're like, I know that special effect anywhere.
Yeah, and then Rose is like, oh, I'll help you. Well, I just hold this lever down in the TARDIS. And she, or the Doctor sends her away.
Yeah.
And we get probably my favorite parts of the episode again, which is just the cutbacks to domestic life.
It makes me realize he did keep his promise to Jackie, because at first, in the first Dalek reintroduction in the episode Dalek, he lets her die for the sake of humanity, so that this Dalek doesn't get released and kill everyone else. But once he realizes she didn't die, then he's like, all right, I should probably start taking care of her.
Yeah, and we get that in Father's Day too, where Jackie hands him Baby Rose, and he has that line where he's like, she told me to take care of her. And you're like, wow, nice writing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get the like funniest shit with Mickey again. He's like, we could go for pizza.
Yeah. After Rose comes back and has like a existential breakdown because like in the future they're dying.
Yep. She sees Bad Wolf and she gets a tow truck to pull out the TARDIS core. Meanwhile,
Jackie gets the truck.
Yeah, Jackie is
the hero.
Saves the day,
She's the hero.
Rose travels back to the future. Back to the Future.
Back to the Future reference.
And we get the reason this episode is so good. Her like little dialogue when she becomes God.
Yeah, she becomes a god after taking in the cosmic indescribable power from the TARDIS.
Yeah, he's like, what'd you do? And the Daleks are like, you can't stop me. And she just fucking erases all of them.
Very epic moment.
Her like breakdown where she's like, the sun, the moon,
she's like,
it hurts.
I can see everything that's going to happen has happened.
It's like, that's what I see all the time.
Yeah.
Isn't your head hurt?
And he makes out with her.
And we get what is probably the worst line in this season, and I love it, where she's like, "My head hurts," and he goes, "Sounds like you need a doctor."
Oh yeah. It's warranted.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And then at the end, she thinks it's all good. It's not. He is in pain.
Even the doctor cannot handle the time vortex.
Yep. He releases
directly.
the time vortex, and he regenerates into some guy I've
Some
never heard of. That
freaking
kind of sucks.
asshole.
I don't
Who
really
cares
know,
about
yeah.
this retard?
Yeah, my notes here. Let's see how. I'm sure this is the most schizophrenic. We have a delta wave moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the theme of the season, and it's repeated like over and over again.
Well-
All things will die.
Well, and also you get to sort of see the complete culmination of Christopher Eccleston Doctor's sort of arc through this season.
Yeah.
His development. Like, is he willing to kill for the so-called sacrifice of others or other life or whatever, the trolley problem basically. But the Daleks are like, you're like us, you'll wipe us out, given the chance. And he is given the chance, and they're like, what are you, Dr. Killer or Coward? And
Coward any day.
yeah, he decides that he won't do it.
And that kind of calls back to Dalek, which we didn't mention. Like the best line of that episode is where he's like, "I'm gonna lock you down now, kill you. I killed every last one of you. I hate you." And the Dalek goes like, "You'd make a good Dalek."
Yeah, and by the end of the episode, when he decides not to kill the Dalek,
Yeah.
Rose is, before that, Rose is like, she doesn't recognize him because he's so bloodthirsty, and she's like, "Well, who are you, Doctor?"
Yeah, it's fantastic. What else do I have? Mickey's whole character is pizza. Yep, there it is. Mad Max ? Again, I put that in every single note, but I never know what it means.
He's Max and he's bad.
He's Max. Human female detected.
Human female detected.
Third impact ? And then I think you need a doctor is up there with Surf's Up.
Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. I would give this a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It's very good.
Yeah.
This is when you're first. You don't even get introduced to the idea that he can regenerate until this point.
Right.
Since the reboot. I thought you were introduced. I thought he talks about it a bit, like briefly prior, but he doesn't.
Well, because what actually happened is when Russell brought it back, he didn't want to do regeneration.
Really?
And then halfway through production,
I mean, that's the whole gimmick of Doctor Who, to keep the show going forever.
He was very
You
adamant.
just replace
He's like, I don't want to do
actors.
regeneration. And then halfway through, we still don't know what happened. Christopher Eccleston got in trouble on set or something, so he quit.
He was.
And Davies was like, "Well, fuck."
Guess we have to. I never knew that. I never knew they didn't want to.
Yeah.
Because I like Eccleston Doctor.
I do too. I would have liked him to stick around.
I like him more than Smith. I'll need to see how I feel after this rewatch of Tenet, but right now Tenet is probably still my favorite.
Yeah.
It's quirky. I watched him in middle school when quirkiness was in.
We can talk about this now because I'm really interested to see how it goes too. Because when I was growing up, my opinion changed very rapidly. I never actually liked Eccleston.
Yeah, same. Well, I liked him for the sake of when he was being replaced.
When he was the Doctor, yeah.
Yeah, when he was being replaced, I was like, I'm not familiar with this. Eccleston is familiar, Tennant is not, so therefore I like Eccleston. But then after you get into it with Tennant, you're like, oh, I like Tennant way better.
Yeah, and then by the time I hit high school, by the time they were airing Series 9 and stuff, I would say to date, we'll see how the rewatch changes things. I think Peter Capaldi's my favorite of the new
I
Doctors.
don't have a problem with that choice. I love Capaldi.
But I would really like to see how that goes, because also, middle school days when I was watching, Series 5 live, I think Amy was my favorite companion. And then by the time I hit high school, I still really like Clara. I know you don't.
I'm not a fan of Amy or
I
Clara.
would like to see how things change, because on this rewatch, I go, yeah, Rose might be my favorite of New Who. But then
really, you that wasn't the case before?
No, because I remember I don't like her in this next season.
Really?
She gets too much for me.
Huh.
Because she becomes so like giggly and flippant, and then she just dies essentially.
She gets locked into another dimension. Excuse me.
Yeah.
No. I think Rose is my favorite companion.
I would like to see how this pans out. Obviously, actual favorite Romana from the classic era. Duh. Romana is based.
I haven't seen any of the classic era really. I think
there's a couple of problems with the new companions in my mind, especially the Davies ones. I get tired when they're all just like lusting after the Doctor the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's like their character. Like that is very much Rose.
No, it's very much.
It's very much Martha.
It's very much Martha. It's not very much Rose because Rose might like she might have feelings for the Doctor.
Yeah.
Like deep down, but I think she actually is mature enough to realize that like she probably can't be with this like God essentially.
And that's my problem with the second season. I think she becomes more like
I'll have to rewatch it.
Oh, it's my boyfriend.
Yeah, I'll have to rewatch it because I don't remember her really being like that so much.
I mean, we'll see. Maybe
because I think even I don't know about the old series, but what is unique about Rose compared to all the other companions in the future in this reboot is that it's like it almost seems like Rose is an exception and the Doctor might also have feelings for her too compared to all the other where he's like it's like no, I can't.
And that's like I think that's a lot of people's problem with Rose is like the Doctor is supposed to be very like aromantic and not interested.
I think
I don't mind it.
Yeah, if they can do it right, which I think they did.
Yeah.
There can be room for like one storyline like that.
I don't mind it terribly because it doesn't really happen again in New Who.
Right.
It didn't happen in Classic Who at all.
It barely happens in this because even up until the very end, like the kiss they had, that's obviously he did that to save her, and then in the end when she gets trapped in another dimension, I guess it's kind of confirmed by the fact that he like makes a clone of. We're not there yet, but he makes a clone of himself to be with her.
Well, and his last line is like, "Rose Tyler, I guess I'll say it now because I'll never get a chance."
Right.
And then he gets teleported away.
Yeah, it's like, he's probably gonna say
like, we know what we know.
We know. But it's like I think they're warranted at least one storyline like that.
Yeah, that's fair. But they I get tired of them doing that with a lot of companions because Amy almost has that in a couple of her stuff till Rory comes in. Yeah,
but it's like it's almost of course because in real life I think that's what it'd be like when you're when you're a young girl introduced to this like this godlike being who takes you around on adventures all the time like most of them are probably going to catch feelings.
My other problem with the new companions is they're all human and I get tired of humans.
I think the studio makes it so
they're like make them hot young girls.
Well, it's just like you almost have to have some relatability.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bring back Romana. Bring back Romana. God damn it! I will watch Horn of the Nymon again. I swear.
Yeah, but Rose overall probably my favorite companion. I mean, we still have one more season to go with her.
Yeah, no, I'm really interested to see how it pans out because like growing up watching the show, my feelings changed a lot. Because I liked David Tennant when he was in the role. As a cringe middle schooler, I think I liked Matt more, actually. And like now I'd be like, yeah, Peter Capaldi, best of the new era.
By the time I got to Matt, I was like, to me, it literally just felt like he was doing a Tennant impression.
Yeah.
Only even quirkier. And I was like, okay, thanks.
And to be honest, just from this rewatch, Christopher Eccleston might be like top tier for me.
Yeah.
I think he's really good.
He is very good.
He's probably one of the better actors as well, just like classic. Because he was in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about the episode ranking of the series. I think we agree on the best episode of the series being
Bad Wolf.
Bad Wolf?
Yeah, Bad Wolf is really good, but again, I kind of have to lump both of the two parts of the season finale together, even if Bad Wolf on a technical level is probably a bit better than Parting the Ways.
Yeah.
And again, Dalek is like like
It's so close.
It's so close.
It's so close.
So close.
Yeah. I would say my ranking would be Bad Wolf, Dalek, like neck and neck.
Yeah.
Dr. Dance's Parting of the Ways. Those are the 10s. And then I'd put End of the World, Father's Day, and then Empty Child, Rose, Boomtown, Aliens of London, World War III, Unquiet Dead, Long Game.
Yeah, I pretty much agree, but again, I would put Unquiet Dead as dead last.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't actually. The best of season 1 is Heaven Sent. Heaven Sent's the best episode of season 1.
Every season, best episode every season.
This is the whole point of the rewatch, just to get to Heaven Sent.
It really is. It really is.
We won't watch Hellbent. It'll just stop there.
Yep. Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to handle the recent seasons.
Yeah, I know. We'll we gotta do it for Nate.
We'll get to that road when we get there.
As a whole, I would probably give this season like a 9 out of 10. I think this might be the best season of the revival.
Yeah.
Which is awkward.
It
only gets worse.
Yeah. We'll need to rewatch those tenets.
Yeah, no. Well, I think we'll definitely see. But I'm inclined to believe this is probably the best season. It's just its highs are so good and its lows are still decent.
It's got the hottest companion.
Yeah. Doing the lip bite.
When Rose does her lip bite. Oh,
babe, sweetheart, honey.
Pizza.
Let's talk about the score last thing. Season 1 score is not as good as the rest of the seasons, but it does have
some bangers.
One of the best tracks. Bad Wolf.
Yeah, very good. Bad Wolf is very good. I don't know what the track is called, but I think Father's Day had some
it does.
Interesting, like some good interesting, instruments, some weird music, but it was good.
Yeah, the remix theme song is fantastic.
I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, I love Murray Gold. I think his music for this series is actually fantastic. It's up there with like Christoph Beck, Bucky score, Buffy. Yeah, because this season we get Bad Wolf. Next season we get what might be one of the best tracks, Doomsday. Matt Smith's 11th Doctor theme is absolutely fantastic. And then in the best episode of the series, Heaven Sent, we get Shepherd's Boy Breaking the Wall. Good Man is a good track. I mean, there's so many. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited for this rewatch because I don't remember the tracks as well as you do.
Yeah. I think... Run You Clever Boy, the Clara theme is fantastic too.
That's all it's got going for it.
I would like to see how I feel about Clara this time. It might just be because I really like Series 9. I'm like, yeah, Clara's best companion. I don't know.
I don't. Clara's like something boring that they like tried to like do something more with. They like took this boring girl and like put her in these crazy circumstances, but she just like never becomes unboring to me.
That's fair. I think season 7 Clara is actually terrible.
Yeah.
I won't argue with that. I think season 7 is an absolute fucking mess. So is series 6. I actually like both of those though. What else do we have to talk about? Do we go right into the ranking every Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode?
I would have to do a first time watch for that one.
All right, it's time.
All right, Buffy podcast.
I do a Buffy podcast. Honestly, why has Doctor Who not done a Restless episode or a Once More with Feeling episode? Where's our musical Doctor Who episode?
Yeah, I'm actually surprised they haven't done something like that.
And you brought this up.
Huh?
Like, why haven't they done a Beatles episode either?
Yeah, what the heck? Get some actors, get some British people, any British person to play a
Any
Beatle,
British person.
any of them.
British woman for the Beatles.
Yeah, exactly.
They regenerated, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, they'll do Hitler, they'll do whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
They do Hitler a couple
they'll
of
do
times.
They'll do Pompeii.
Yep.
The Beatles, it's British. It doesn't get more British than that.
Yeah, it's like that and chips.
Did they do any Beatles in the classics?
No, I don't. It's been so long since I've watched the classics. I don't think so. Because, I mean, the show started like at the same time as the Beatles.
Yeah, and if you did a musical episode, it could definitely be something really like stupid and funny, like, oh, it's a airborne alien virus making them sing.
Yeah, do what Buffy did. Be like, yeah, we summoned a dancing demon.
Yeah, or it's like in this dimension, everything is
everyone
like
has to
framed that
sing.
way. Yeah. It's like, come on.
Yeah, if they did a Beatles episode, it'd have to be like Sylvester McCoy, but I don't think
They should have done that with Capaldi. I think Capaldi would make a good
That's
singing
true, because
doctor.
Series 9 is opening. He's got his guitar in
Yep.
like the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss Capaldi.
Yeah.
He was the man.
They should have just
They did
ended
him
it
bad.
there.
They
should
did
have
him
just
bad.
They should have just ended this stupid show there. Could have even ended it at Smith. Technically would have been correct. Could have ended it like 100 years ago.
Yeah. Do we have any final comments on Christopher Eccleston on his run on?
I'd give him a 9 out of 10.
I'd give him a fantastic.
Yeah.
You were fantastic, and so was I.
I like him more than Smith. I have yet to see if he surpasses Tenet, but as of my middle school self, Tenet is
As
number
my
one.
cringe middle
I'm
school
like cringe.
self.
He's quirky. He's hot. You know what else is there?
They got their casting requirements. They're like
Quirky, hot,
quirky.
sideburns. There we go.
Scottish, but doing a British accent.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for the David Tennant one, where we do series 2, 3, 4.
And I'm gonna talk about Rose for like 30 minutes straight because we say goodbye to her, and I will have my case for her why she's the best.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see if my season 2 opinion of Rose stays the same, because I love her in this first season. She's really good.
She's the perfect balance of, like, she asks all the right questions.
She's
gets
super compassionate.
Deep, yeah, she gets deep about the right things, but then she's also quite simple and pleasant and brings it back down to earth. You know, she's like, obviously she's out of her depth with a lot of this stuff, but she's not like really all that stupid.
No. And like end of series 2, we understand why you needed Rose, because we get Runaway Bride, and Donna has that throwaway line where she's like, promise me you'll find someone to stop you from being a
psycho,
schizo.
a schizo artist. Yeah.
Any parting of the ways?
Yeah, I think it was a good reintroduction of Doctor Who into popular media.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And like, there's so much that led up to this, because I think the way they did this was fantastic. Because it was fantastic. Because like the old series very seldom did these like series long arcs. And that's something the new series does really well until it does really terribly.
Yeah, they kind of overstep their boundaries.
I always like the series arcs, because it's always like, where's this gonna go? This Bad Wolf one's probably one of the best, because it's just so simple.
It's really simple, and another thing, it's when I'm looking at the series as a whole, it's easy to sort of be like, oh, it's just the Doctor. You know, you sort of lump all of his regenerations of the revival together. At least, you know, the first 4.
Yeah. I'd say Capaldi's pretty different.
I think he's not all that different from Eccleston. He's just even more grumpier.
Exactly.
It's more accentuated by the fact that he's like physically an old man.
Yeah. And he has a Scottish accent.
Right. It's like, so basically, but like the main tenets of the Doctor is
Christopher Nolan's
of the Doctor is that he's like this quirky sci-fi grumpy guy.
Yeah.
Quirky sci-fi grumpy man. Yeah. that like knows everything, but like his head gets too big sometimes, but his heart's in the right place. Anyways, so it's easy when you're looking at the series as a whole to just think of it as the Doctor, and instead of like, because it is, even though he becomes different entities, but then when it gets down to it in the regeneration episodes, you do sort of it does sort of hit you, and you're like, oh, we're not going to see this one anymore. That's pretty sad.
Yeah. But then you're like, hey, I like this new one.
Yeah,
most of the time.
Yeah. Yep.
Until he regenerates into Colin Baker, and you go, oh no, kill me.
What is that?
What is that, man?
What is that?
Yeah. The series arcs. I really like how they did that because, the old series is really hard to watch. I love it, and I'm sure 90% of people would just absolutely hate it, but because it's like each series is like 6 episodes, but each episode has like 6 parts, and they're all like contained, and it's a mess. I think they really streamlined it, and they do a really good job making it episodical but serialized, and that's the modern day, right?
Yep.
Because we got Twin Peaks in the 90s, we got X Files, we got Buffy, and that's what allowed for the reboot to happen, essentially. Yeah. And
instead of turning things into like basically 2 movies that you have to watch in 6 parts.
Yeah. And the only time I can remember them doing that in the classic was the Key of Time arc with Best Companion Romana and Best Dr. Tom Baker.
I can't speak to his thoughts do not reflect my own. I cannot speak to any of this.
If you haven't seen any of that, just watch City of Time and Warrior's Gate or City of Death. But yeah, like I really like how they changed it. I think as much as they get so much more incomprehensible as they go on, I love the incomprehensible storylines. I love when Stephen Moffat comes in and he's got tubes in his arm. He's like, guys, listen, I've
got a new idea. They wheel him in. He's a Dalek. He's just a fucking tentacle monster.
He looks like the Doctor at the end of season 3 when he's like a Dobby.
He's like a little Dobby elf. He's like,
I've got a new idea, everyone. So what if the Doctor is like...
What if Rose is the Doctor's mom because she went back in time and he's
yeah,
moisturize me.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna go watch season 2.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Mr. Quirky level 10.
Yeah. Quirky 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta do 10 minutes for the credits. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, wait, that's Dark Souls. Hold on.
Oi, you got
chips.
You got fish and chips. You got pizza. You travel through time and space. You are.
I just got pizza.